Are we live?
Now you're live.
I think if you put this looking at you,
We'll turn the fan off, but leave it.
I'll just do that like a quick flash.
you will then. Okay. Anyway, do whatever.
So I need to
5
make
minutes.
sure that I have. Can they hear us?
They can hear you now.
Oh, that's good.
I can unhear them if you want. I can turn it off. So
No, because then it might be confusing. Then they'll think it's broken and they'll don't leave.
Nigel's watching.
Is he? Oh, cool. Nigel was on last week. Right, so you sent me a WhatsApp,
Who's cool dude? He can hear me.
and the
Yeah.
WhatsApp says,
I'm gonna.
in this week's MenSpeak radio show on the men's radio station, Kenny Mammarella-D'Cruz, that's me, is interviewing marketing to men expert Fernando. How do you
Desouches.
Right,
Desouches.
that's what I thought it was. Fernando was the
It's
brainchild behind the Lynx Find Your Magic campaign, which is, and it's the founder. This is so many words. Fuck, it's a lot of words.
I work on that. Yeah, 2 years ago.
I think I went out and bought Lynx after that. So
Yeah. Well, that was the idea.
And is the founder of New Macho, the strategic unit at brand. Oh, this is so
BBD Perfect Storm.
complicated.
BBD
This is
Perfect
too complicated. I can't do all that. There are so many words.
Yeah, when we talk about New Macho, I can do that part.
Yeah.
If you want, tell
Yeah.
me what is New Macho. I say it, but I'm gonna bring the parent agency
So I think
to the discussion. Yeah.
1 minute, I'll mute everything
Right.
and then
Oh, cans.
can use those ones.
All right, I didn't even see these.
Use them.
Thank you.
Okay. Dangerous dance.
Oh, listen to you.
I can do the whole.
Kenny, this is the voice
Wow.
of James.
I can hear your heartbeat. I can hear your
Dangerous
heartbeat. I can
dance.
hear your heartbeat all night long.
Do you have an idea of the audience, so who listen to this? No, so we can talk about everything. we can
Blokes.
say.
I think, is it generally like older blokes?
Yeah, generally.
Older blokes.
All the blogs.
Yeah, yeah.
You might get
Okay.
the odd, my friend tuning in for a bit who's 20, but
No.
don't worry about him.
Okay. If you're 20, fuck you.
But we're going.
The odd one that pops in to see what I'm doing.
No, because of what? Actually, let's. No, I tell you why I ask.
2 minutes, I'm going to
You're listening to Kenny Mammarella-D'Cruz on the men's radio station. Hello and welcome to the Men's Radio Station. So, in this week's Men's Radio Show on the Men's Radio Station, I am speaking with Marketing to Men expert Fernando Desouches. Fernando is the brainchild behind Lynx, Find Your Magic campaign, and is the founder of the new Macho. New Macho's the new advertising agency that's just done this incredible research into what makes modern man tick and how we can work together to tick together better, but not the Twitch kind of tick. It's a different kind of tick. We're going to chat about the state of men and masculinity in the UK, brand communication, the Gillette ad, and what the pillars of happiness are for men today. Welcome, Fernando.
Thank you very much.
Shall we start with pillars of happiness? Because, you know, with an intro like that, tell us now.
I know them.
And you're going to sell them to your clients rather than spilling the beans.
Let me... let's do a quick intro about what you're talking about on the research. I think to say why we are saying that. New Macho is a strategic unit of a bigger agency called BBD Perfect Storm. We started this just 1 year ago to focus on how we can help brand growth with a new main narrative. And we want to walk the talk and really lead the conversation about what is to be a man. And this is what we did at national research, talking to 2,000 people, men and women, to understand where masculinity is and more where men are going, so how we talk to them. By doing this survey, we realize where men are, and this is what we'll discuss today. But this, what you are quoting, is part of this survey, of the report of the survey. That is a quote from Sigmund Freud, saying, okay, the pillars of men are love and work. I think it's totally spot on. The thing is how we define love and work for men. Love from a more masculine part is the connector, the lover. It's how you connect with yourself and from there with the world around. Means not just your lover, but also the environment and the people that surrounds you and yourself. So if you cannot connect, it's very difficult that you feel what happiness is. But the other is how you realize as a man, how you become a generative man. And this is where work comes. So work with meaning. And
it's purpose rather than
it's
work.
Purposeful work, something that you care about, something that words comes to my mind, our legacy, our purpose.
And do you find that with this kind of research, do you go into the people that have to work, irrespective of whether they like it or not, because they need money, and the people that have the luxury of choosing purpose because they're not in survival mode, so to speak?
Yes, I think, of course, there are differences regarding what possibilities you have. I think also we resignified in the past what work is. I think in the past where it was very clear for good or for bad, in this case, that men are men when they work, and this is their role in society, and women have other role. Whilst women start racing in doing works that in the past were done for men for very good reasons, that get men lost and say, okay, how can I then realize as a man? How can I be a man through my work?
So in the old days, men provide and protect.
Exactly.
Now, men don't really necessarily are the highest providers. The women might be providing more or better at it.
Yeah.
And I guess a lot of men might even be better at the traditional female roles.
Yeah, but also, yes, but to resignify as men and feel that they are providers, because we still are providers. This is part of almost our genetic. Is where, okay, how we can then do it. And this is when purpose is starting to come alive. And maybe it's purpose by the job or work that gives you money, or purpose coming for other type of work that maybe it's not just about the money, but it's about the compensation.
Yeah.
So I think it's part of this resignification that is happening. Today, work become this relationship between effort and money, in many cases without purpose. But I think this is also changing. It's not by no means fully changed. We are in a moment of turmoil, economical turmoil, political turmoil. But I think we are going towards, maybe this is very positive and seems to be very far, towards giving a new signification to work. And this will be very healthy. Maybe it's a little bit of future thinking or wishful thinking, but it's a need. If we cannot get men back to express in a purposeful way or connect in a generative way with their work, there is a lack. And that lack will be filled with something. Because it's an emotional lack that will drive us to an addiction, violence, or any repression that then is expressed.
It sounds like your work is a lot more than selling products to men. It sounds like there's more of a mission to make men self-aware, healthy, give men power, recognize and acknowledge the choice that they have.
Yes, it is, but it is both. I think they are not exclusive. So in the past, we sold products to men by generating a visual identity, an aspirational of the figure of men that was quiet, materialistic, narrow, or focused on certain qualities of a man, like self-control of your emotions, looking tough and distant, detached. And this is the way brands used to connect with men, very effective to sell more products. Our idea and our point of view is, why don't we create a different aspirational for men and sell more products by doing so? And it's not by neglecting that type of man that can control his emotion is wrong. It's one type, and sometimes it's functional and very healthy for it. Men sometimes need to control their emotions, but not all the time, because if you do it all the time and it's the only way that you can be an aspiration for other men and be respected, well, you are performing who you are. If you do it all the time, you perform, because you are giving, as you said, your power away.
So you're putting on a good show, and there is no you. It's just a good show. So one of my favorite quotes. So the new Macho, which is the name of your agency, has produced Men Breaking Down or Breaking Through. And one of my favorite quotes, and this is sharing some of the information that you found after commissioning the research. This is relating to what you just said, men stare darkly into the middle distance or focus fiercely on some distant goal. When they're shown with other men, it's more likely to be as passing strangers or competitors for women than as friends. When they're not portrayed in classical heroic mode, they're dorks, hapless figures of fun, objects of derision. Spot on. So surely those men sold. Are you saying that you're going to show a different man that's going to sell the same products or different products, or what's your angle? What's your take on this?
I think it's fundamental that are the same and others. So today, something that we got from a different survey, this is the one from the Book of Man, is telling us that 69% of men in the UK are not connecting with brands. Brands are spending £22 billion in communication targeting men. So 15 billion of pounds per year are not being very effective targeting men. So for sure, brands that are today in the marketplace need to understand where men are and where are they going, because they are losing their money, they are being ineffective. Apart from all of the social implications of that, is commercial as well. So they need really to adjust. And we are seeing that maybe for new brands that are coming from Instagram or new brands like the ones that just launched talking about erectile dysfunction for men, like Manual or Newman, are much more already talking to the new guy. For me, it's more difficult for the brands that need to transition towards the new vision of men, that need to face and accept and embody a new definition of what is the aspirational man.
So, to flash back to the past for a minute, because I'm curious, firstly, as a man who's been living in the UK from Argentina for 10 years, what's your journey from Argentina to London? And then, in a way, this is maybe me bigging you up or something, but taking on Lynx or Axe, depending on which country you're in, taking that brand on, doing phenomenal research in 10 different countries, was it? And then what did you find from that research? How did you turn around the face of, for me, the old Lynx was squirt your armpits and get laid. And you gave it incredible depth about who are you and who are you in the world. So what was that research and how did that turn things around? Because I'm guessing this is the next generation after that with new research, and I wonder where this is going to go. So what's the past and what does the future bring in this way?
Yes. Lisa, so I started working at Unilever, which is the parent company for Axe in the world, and Lynx here in 1999, so 20 years ago. And I worked half of the time in Argentina, for Argentina and Latin America, and then I worked 9 years here for Europe and the globe. 9 years I worked also for the Lynx brand. So I was part of the past of Lynx when the mating game was a conquer game. The more girls you have, the better. And basically, the message was never try to be negative, always was positive. We always were on the guy's side, helping them to get a relationship. But at the moment, in the times of the Lynx effect, the story was you are not attractive enough until you wear the fragrance. And when you wear the fragrance, you become a magnet. You become a magnetic figure.
Yeah.
Women, the most beautiful women, many of them want to be with you, and was a very effective story for many years. Then we said we stop seeing the same results that in the past, coming from that idea of a Lynx effect. So we said, okay, what's going on? And we commissioned this survey in 10 countries, talking to 3,500 guys, and we get many, many insights. But all of them were showing that in principle, the idea behind the Lynx effect was broken, that relationships, it wasn't a conquer game, but a connection game. That, of course, we saw that women and female empowering were in other place, and I'm talking now about 2013, 2014.
Right.
So we said, of course, we need to change how we are, the place we are giving to women in communication. And we've been trying to do so for a while, but it wasn't that clear. We need a much more radical change to change the direction of Titanic. Lynx is a very big brand. It's 1.4 billion euro brand.
Wow.
So, and then we realized that maybe we used in the past sex as provocation, and in 2013 already sex was a commodity. So we need to change many things. But the thing that changed me by changing the brand was an insight that we found that it says men are performing their masculinity instead of live it. Live it. Which means men are performing their life instead of living. And this is the thing. It was myself looking at the mirror and say, Is this happening to me as well? Is this happening to the people I have around? What are the alternatives? What are the other ways?
So you took it personally. You took a good look at yourself and looked at how you might be performing being a man rather than being your own man.
Yeah, it was an insight that honestly, as I connected to that, it started interrogating. I started interrogating the world from there. So what is happening in China, in India, in Turkey, in England, in Germany, in Brazil, in the US? There's a pattern here. What's going on?
And these are all the countries you researched?
Yes, most of them. Yeah, Russia as well. It was everywhere. It's a different expression of what push pressure on men. Maybe in Russian it's about the Siberian bear and be tough. In Brazil it's more body image. In China it's about don't fail to your parents. In India might be about being successful in economic terms by having a house, a credit card, and a car, and being either a doctor or engineer or have your own business. Otherwise, you are not successful. UK is about money and power. US much more so. And then I said, okay, when I started understanding that, by interrogating me on my own journey, but also seeing the world from that lenses, I said, wow, we have a big problem, and maybe brands are part of that problem. And when we found it working for the Lynx, it's also that brands can be part of the solution.
Yeah.
And this is after working and done the work for Lynx, and saw that people were more ready than I expected to receive that message. So when we launched the campaign at the Super Bowl in 2016, we had 90% positive sentiment, women leading the conversation, no haters. So I said, okay, the world is ready for this.
Wow.
And we can do more of that.
Did it feel like a big risk to take such an about turn with such a powerful brand?
Yes, it's huge. Yeah, it's a big risk. Yeah.
So they backed you up. They gambled.
Well, we were
with
a
you.
team. It's not just myself. We were a team. I think that the team was a very good team, and we have very good sponsors. This is, I think, why it worked. It's more the difficulties and the rejection or the fears are more from the inside than what happens in the outside. When you do it, makes sense.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, the figures demanded. The figures demanded you look at it. The figures gave you permission to do what you did. But emotionally, I guess it might be a different thing. What's your take on the whole Gillette ads and the hoo-ha recently?
Yeah. So I wrote about that for campaign and the drum. I think the intentions are good for Gillette. The thing is, they missed a big part, that is, what is the role of men in the man crisis we are living? That men are victims as well. It's not that you should... Brands can help you to navigate life. What is aspirational, what is acceptable or not. What brands cannot do is tell you how to behave and ultimately how to be.
Yeah.
So by trying to sort out or have a take on the current masculine crisis, the role Gillette chose to tell men how to behave and how to be. So most men are saying, okay, who are you to tell me that on one side? And on the other, they had bigger expectations about the brand that was a big part of their life.
For generations.
Yeah.
And were you surprised at at the negative response, or do you feel like so many people have said, well, they set it up, they wanted the PR, they wanted the negative response? Do you think they were off the mark with this, or do you think it was all planned?
No, I don't think it's planned, because they have what we call huge penetration. They reach many people. They have chances to lose more than to win. So, and also there are ways that you can do it without generating that backlash. You don't need to get the backlash they got. The other thing I tend to say when I talk about that, and this something that is not super clear in Gillette, but is there, and is more clear in other campaigns, that you need to be very careful if you are entering the discussion about masculinity, because you risk to, by trying to get people out from what is called the man box, the box of the man up mantra, creating a new box that I call the progressive box, the progressive trap. That is, okay, all of the sudden, all men need to be vulnerable and emotional.
Yeah. So
and this adds pressure to them as well. It's a different playbook, but it's not giving you your power to you.
Yeah.
The answer is not there.
Yeah.
The answer, which for us is the new macho, is that the power is back to you with how you balance your progressiveness and your traditional views about what is to be a man, and you connect to that, and you connect with the world from there.
The new macho. Is the new macho actually macho?
I think so, yeah. This is the part that we don't need to let go, but not macho in the negative sense.
So what
macho
do you
in the connection of the power of the strength of a man. Macho, of course, is a stereotype and is like all of the negative part of a man, but it's not negative. It's the exaggeration of certain behaviors and attitude related to men. Exactly. The thing is how we get out the exaggeration, get our part of, connect with also with the third part of our femininity as men, balance that, and show up from there.
So what would you say, maybe it's rude for me to have the judgment that men are in touch with our femininity, where boys need to avoid their femininity and prove their masculinity. What would you say to the men who fear their femininity, or the boys who fear their femininity and need to be seen as a man? How would you say they could navigate that?
It's a long journey. It's of course will be for each will have a different way, because you need honestly go in there are two ways. You can have the real tough work of understand why you are rejecting the feminine, opening, mostly asking help to do so, because you think with your own values and you have your own beliefs. And if you want to enter that to a very healing change, you really need to challenge those values and beliefs, and you might need help for that.
Right.
Either going to men's groups, men's retreats, therapy, meditation, yoga, whatever. But you really need to do a deep change.
So you mentioned some positive things to that. Would you say there are some negative things to watch out for, to not do?
To not do what?
So you said go to men's groups, go to therapy.
The thing is, I don't want to impose that.
Right.
I think this is one way of people, but I think there's a way that we can hack the system that then will end up also healing, doing the tough work, that is creating this new aspiration of men. If I tell you that a man that connect with himself and understand how he feels under any situation, or a man that prefer to respond rather to react, or a man that can show a relaxed confidence, is aspirational, is signed off by Rolex, or signed off at BMW, or other luxury brand. Well, maybe you want to be that man. And then you start asking, okay, how can I be that man? Am I that man? Can I control that? And with those questions, we open the door to say, okay, these are the ways on where you can get to that place. Because today, if you are performing, if you are defensive, if you are neglecting your femininity, the most likely thing is that you are not aware of it. So as I had the question from Lynx saying, men are performing, makes me think, am I performing? maybe we need that. We need to trigger insights for people to make those questions.
So for people to be aware of when they're being authentic and when they're putting on a show, when they're being conscious and when they're not conscious, how?
Well, I think this is the way could be that. It's like creating the aspirational of authenticity.
Right.
Because
so through demonstration. What you're saying is demonstrate a conscious man. So blokes can look at this conscious man and rather than saying, am I muscly enough? Am I rich enough? Am I showing off enough? It's more, am I real enough?
Exactly.
Am I present enough? Am I authentic enough?
Exactly.
Now it makes the pennies finally dropped for me, I think, and in good time because it's time for the ad break.
You're listening to
Men Radio Station, where men really talk.
Hello, I'm Lawrence Davis. I'm the proud owner of Stoughton Cigars in Mayfair and Knightsbridge. For the past 60 years, we've been providing the world's best Cuban cigars. When it comes to cigars, there's no other than Stoughton Cigars from Mayfair and Knightsbridge. We at Stoughton's would like to wish Men's Radio Station every support in their task for helping men's emotional and mental well-being. Check them out. Men's Radio Station, where men really talk.
Your call is important to us. You are now number 15 in a queue.
At Profile Insurance Services, we treat people as individuals. You'll speak to a real person, not a call centre. We're fast, small, independent, and have a superb team of insurance specialists. And they're really nice too. Advice is totally free and we cover everything. Call 0208 931 3306. Listeners to Men's Radio Station won't pay a penny for admin fees. That's 0208 931 3306. With Profile Insurance Services, you're covered.
Let me tell you about Jermyn Street Theatre. We are the smallest theatre in the West End, only 70 seats. We are a registered charity and not grant-aided, run by a small team of volunteers and trustees. Jermyn Street Theatre is a hidden gem. It combines the comfort and convenience of the West End with the intimacy of a studio. Every seat has a perfect view of the stage, and even a whisper is audible. This is a secret theatre in the heart of the West End, once found, never forgotten.
Slick 50 Barbershop is in Westcliff-on-Sea, Essex. Elaine, specialist in retro haircuts, has been trading since 1987. Music and lifestyle are her inspiration. You can also purchase merchandise and Toot Sweet pomade. The shop is open Tuesday, Thursday, Friday and Saturday. Please call 01702 390 916 to book your haircut. Visit barbershoprockabilly.co.uk, Slick 50 Barbershop on Instagram. Gracias.
Not ready for making tax digital? Struggling to keep up with changes? Or do you simply need a friendly and reliable face to handle your accounting needs? With over 20 years of experience, BBK Partnership in 5 London areas provide personal advice, and all our partners are readily available in person and by phone at times that suit you. Give BBK a call today, 0208 216 2520, or visit our website, bbkca.com.
You're listening to Kenny Mammarella-D'Cruz on the Men's Radio Station. I must admit that there are some brands that just make me so happy. Especially, like, for me, I can feel that intro, dum, 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 and it kind of makes space for me, and I show up, or the part of me that loves to be on the radio and hang out, and it brings that part up in me. Mm-hmm. And I wonder whether branding is actually that personal, because there are other brands that just make me instantly. I love Paul Smith shirts. Yeah. I love Mambo clothes. It brings up happiness. It brings up a certain personality, different parts of me. And what I love that you've done is if you guys go to the new macho.co.uk, you can download the, what would you call it? It's more of a brochure.
Report.
It's a report. But, it seems reports sound like heady and boring.
Okay, it's the best book you can read in your life.
It so is, and it's all about you. But if you're into brands and to understand the way that men work, and there's so much more to it, and it's really, really a good read. And we were going to talk about the whole money thing, money and London. Take it away, Fernando. Give us some gems from the report.
Yes. It was a big surprise, the report. So we commissioned this with a certain expectation. We said, okay, for sure, younger guys will be more progressive. People from London, from the city, will be more progressive in their views of masculinity, people with more money. So the end of this, what we were looking for is, okay, what are the beliefs that are behind how we build success? From our view, I can talk more about that, but success put as much pressure to men as beauty does to women. And this is a big statement.
That's huge.
And this is why we want to work with success. The way our brain is designed for men also make us easier to portray in spaces. So if you put a picture of Federer to me, I will not look at how he smiles, how he looks, or how he has his hair. I will put myself in the shoes of the best tennis player in the world.
Right.
So success adds a lot of pressure in this performing game. So we said if we can hack success, we can show how brands can grow with a different story. What are the beliefs behind success? And this is why we did the test. We did the research. And the results really, really surprised us. So it shows that it was almost the opposite what we were expecting, that millennial, in particular the generation millennial, has more what we can call traditional views about how men are successful. The same with people from London. The same with people with more money. I say, what's going on? And a good output that is in the report is maybe we need to stop thinking about traditional and progressive, which is a little bit of what also I'm saying. Let's try to not talk so absolutely about man up and progressive masculinity. We need to start thinking about integration. We need to start thinking that we are maybe traditional on one thing, maybe more progressive on other things.
Yeah.
And could be political on how we see success and stuff. And this is part of the research. So we talked to millennials. We showed some statements. And we said, okay, men don't crack under pressure. We were expecting, honestly, that boomers or Generation X were more inclined to that idea. But it was millennial. Almost, I think it was 37% of millennials thinking that real men don't crack under pressure.
Where did that come from?
Well, it's part of how they've been raised. They want to show they are successful. I think that their social media is also adding to that idea of I need to show that I'm successful all of the time.
Yeah.
So I don't want to show weakness. Another thing that these guys, millennial, told us was that they think it's better to be feared than respected. That
better to be feared than respected. So this brings us full circle to the playground and the bullies. And there's something in the report as well about, is it bullies or is it something about aggression? Where, go on, do you know the bit I'm referring to?
Yeah, I think it's about aggression, but it's tricky because it's not aggression. How you express yourself, I don't say you need to be aggressive by no means, but you become aggressive when you repress emotions for a while. Right. And one emotion that for my time in the UK, meant to repress a lot is anger. And when you repress anger for a while, it's not that anger disappear.
Yeah.
Anger is expressed in another way. And this is aggression to others or aggression to yourself. So we need to really work on that.
And I would say with my kind of work with men is suppressed anger. Very often the anger might be hiding or protecting sadness or vulnerability, but the amount of men suffering from low-level depression, the amount of men on medication, it's all this suppression of not just anger, but creative energy, their creative spirit, their power, their source of life source, passion, pleasure. It's like, if that's suppressed, then what happens to a man? And there's another thing that you put in the report: men use mental health services a lot lower than women because it doesn't accord with their sense of who they are or who they need to be seen to be. You've got deep into real men, real people. So where are you taking things from here? Because part of what I love about this report is it seems to be opening a conversation.
Yeah.
Where is this?
So the conversation is, let's move from talking about the symptoms to talking about the root issues. So for a while, not for a while, I think when I started working in the Lynx work, 2013, 2014, actually nobody was talking about masculinity. It was under the radar of society. I think now that changed. We are talking about masculinity. The thing is, mostly we are talking about the symptoms. We are talking about sexual harassment, violence, drug addiction, work addiction, excessive sports. We are talking about sex addiction. We are talking about all of these subjects separately. Opioid addictions that you just said about guys taking pills for anxiety and so on. And the conversation is, okay, it's good that we talk about these addictions. It's good that we have palliative for them. But if we don't talk about the root cause, that is, the men are not being who they are and repressing many things, and those repressions end up generating an emotional lack that they will feel with something, well, then we will move to one addiction to another. And then we will write many pages of newspaper, hours of TV shows talking about symptoms, but jumping from one to the other and not fixing what is going on behind. And this is a massive social issue. It's not being solved by brand communication, and we said that in the report. Brand communication is one of the streams alongside entertainment, media, politics, education, health prevention, and many others.
Earlier on, we were talking about the whole aggression thing, and this really struck me. One of the key ways to gain status in a group is to be aggressive. Meanwhile, aggressiveness is also the number one predictor of being disliked. So what is the new man going to look like? Is he going to be non-aggressive, but non-kind of wimpy? Is he going to be crying and gazing into eyes, or is he going to be fixing, or is he going to be holding the tools and passing them to his partner while he or she fixes things, or where is this going?
That is an amazing question, because it's what I hear many times, that, okay, we know that the playbook of the man up is not working. So we know that this was helpful for some time, for some men, to say, okay, this is me as a man, but now we realize that doesn't work to men. So the question is, what is the new playbook?
Yeah.
And this is the funny answer. There's none. You need to write it.
Do you know, and I wonder whether this is where the new Macho in your work, the men's radio station, and MenSpeak and the groups and everything that we're doing have in common, because we seem to be saying man up and talk about it, because we're listening. It's about you. you lead the way, and let's grow this together, rather than is it true to say that traditional marketing says find the pain points and rub their noses in the pain points and show them that if they spend money doing this, then they will relieve some pain and get addicted to this thing and continue relieving your pain and get addicted to your status in society? How exhausting.
Yeah, but also marketing is changing. So marketing cannot be just that, and actually shouldn't be much that. We are realizing now that marketing is not just you have a problem, I give you a product or the service. It's a relationship between people. The people that believes in what they do to make other people's better lives, have better lives.
Modern marketing and modern man connects.
Yeah, because I think starting for the modern men, I think men are changing. Women change it faster.
Yeah.
Now men are adjusting, and marketing seems to be the last one to adjust.
Right.
And this is what also we want to change, and this is why we lead the conversation. We are saying to brands, look, you need to change. You are going to be left behind.
Yeah. And it's pretty instant these days. I mean, look at, as soon as Gillette, the ad was out, it was all over the place, the feedback.
Yeah.
And as soon as any marketing goes out, Google tells you every move that everyone they're watching has done.
Yeah.
And you know instantly what's going on. So I guess we get to listen, really listen, and respond. So here's a personal question. And this is one of the questions from the open groups when we run the men's groups, because we've talked a lot about brands and we've talked about a lot about numbers and I guess disassociated from people. So, and with the rules from the men's group, you can say pass to anything. When's the last time you cried?
I openly cried very, very strongly. I cried 2 weeks ago. I was in a men's retreat talking about my father. He passed away like 20 years ago, and I cried there a lot. But also there are things that I really connect to. Today I was watching for a presentation I have tomorrow an ad from Guinness, the story when Gareth Thomas told his story on how he told his teammates of the Welsh rugby team that he was gay. It's done very well.
Wow.
And it's not that I cry openly, but I feel it. I really, really feel it. I connected to that, to the real story.
Yeah. I can so relate to that, because when I come to that question, when we do the rounds, last time you cried, I always split it into the last time I cried inside myself was probably hours ago. And the last time I cried outwardly with someone else or witnessed was probably weeks or months ago.
Yeah.
But I feel when I was younger, I would cry through what I thought was sadness. A lot of it was fear or overwhelm or lost for words. But what I love about it these days, and I think this is what you might be referring to earlier, is I cry more when my heart opens, when I'm moved. And it's not necessarily a sad thing. And I remember one of our common friends, Shanda, who I think he said that when he watched a certain part of the Gillette ad, he cried.
Yeah.
And it's very clever, the way that a lot of, I guess, what could be seen as insulting messages can be so balanced out by one or two scenes that are heart-opening, and then everything's forgiven. Do you know what I mean?
Totally, because the thing with Gillette, we go back to that, is not that everything is wrong and it's a disaster. It's like what they're saying, it connects with some people that are already, it's like a neoliberal story that neoliberals will say, yes, I connect to that and defend to that. I cannot believe that other people think differently.
Yeah.
But then it's here by conservatives and say, hey, what are you talking about? Are you emasculating me? And this is when you need to avoid is this neoliberal conservative fight that in reality doesn't exist in men. So why we want to generate that bridge? And the same when we try to generate a bridge and a gap between men and women, which is the dangerous part of Me Too. On one side, Me Too is very positive because brought to life an abuse, and many times a criminal abuse of men in power, and it's very good that came to light. But then we can risk that for many people and many women to get a common enemy or an enemy in all men. And most men I know in my life are good men with good intentions. So don't create the gap where that gap doesn't exist.
Yeah. So is modern marketing to men more going into the heart muscle than being muscly and macho? Is that one of the...
I think we need to avoid the discussion. I think it's avoiding the making a statement of masculinity.
Right.
It's just what you show. How do you said before, there are sometimes that you see an ad or connect with the brand and you feel love, you think joy. We start talking about an emotional connection with brands. This is very masculine. Men are more emotional in the way we connect with brands. So what type of emotions we want to convey?
Are you saying that men are more connected with emotional ads than women?
Women also connect, but also women connect with the functional and the information, the details. So women are better for details. So if you tell me...
But that's against the rules, surely.
No, it's not.
Isn't it supposed to be that women connect from the heart more than men and men connect more practically? Or have you found out something different here?
No, but depending on what we talk emotional. So what we said before of how we portrayed the aspiration for men, 007. You connect to that emotional. I want to be that. Okay, it doesn't mean that it's an emotion that makes you cry. It's the emotion that I want to be that. The same with Johnny Walker, Keep Walking, or Audi, saying German technology. So they create aspirational spaces you want to be part of, and then they give information there. And this is the work men works. When you go to women, you can have that, but also you can have, this is a shampoo that give you 5 benefits and explain you why. I said, okay, this works for me. I believe in that. I want to use it. For men, maybe it's not the best entry point. This is the difference.
It's so interesting because I personally, and my wife and I have had this conversation, that look in the nursery school playground, look at the kids, and it seems that the little boys who are supposedly slugs and snails and puppy dogs' tails are by far the most fragile and the most loving and the most vulnerable and the most kind of little spirits coming with heart. And it seems that the girls are a lot stronger and a lot, let's play school so I can tell you off. And then they carry on doing that all through their lives with their kids. And, I'm not saying that all girls do that, but I know that I've known when I was a child, and I look at the mothers and the professions that the little girls I used to know, and I've noticed that the ones that used to play school and tell people off are still doing it as adults, as a way of life in their families and the work that they do. So it's interesting about, maybe it's not about boys and girls. Maybe it's not even about masculine and feminine. Maybe it's about the environment you come from inside and the environment that's been dictated from the outside, and what your spirit is. Beyond male and female, beyond masculine and feminine. So who are we and where on earth are we going?
Well, the reason behind New Macho is help men to grow and show up, but the ultimate vision we have is get to a sustainable gender equality. That communication pave the road there, where men and women are comfortable with their own femininity and masculinity, the healthy ones.
It feels, the way that you said that, it feels like you're taking it to the next level, where you turned Lynx into, what was the name of the campaign?
Find Your Magic.
Find Your Magic. So it's from be this to get that, to find out who you are and express that, to meet life, to the next level now with new Macho. So, and I wonder also, because with Lynx, you were working for Unilever, and now you have your own agency, which to me, in my way of thinking, is almost like leaving the family and venturing out on your own. What's that journey been like for you? Leading the way or holding a new team without coming from a world giant?
Yeah, it's part of the growth. So I think these are the things I cannot understand if it's something I planned or something that was planned for me. But at the same time, in parallel, I was been developing as an adult man, which I continue doing, whilst also the journey in my working life took me. So we go back for the very beginning.
Yeah.
So Sigmund Freud saying is love and work. Those things are not static.
Yeah.
Those things need to evolve.
Yeah.
How you connect evolves. How you work, in the way you connect to work, also evolves. So the journey is super interesting, because you need to understand that if you are going to that journey, you need to really challenge your patterns of behavior. You need to challenge your beliefs. You enter into spaces where you need to detach and detox to gather new insights and start from those new insights getting to new experiments. Some of them will work, some will not work. You will give space to your purpose to arise, to develop, and from purpose and your new insights and more freedom on challenging your patterns is the way you get out and you build your new self. And then you enter in the journey again. So this is the way it was for me. Sometimes something in me said, okay, maybe it was that insight from Lynx that pushed me to, now is the moment to start the journey, which is a sort of hero journey or whatever you want to call it, and start challenging. And the need for myself, I decided not to do it by myself. I asked for help. I asked for help not just in the thinking of opening, of emotional help that we can get from the groups, retreats, therapy, but also connecting to new people.
What was it like for you asking for help? Was that new?
No, this is, I have something that maybe is a benefit for me. So I come from Argentina when talking to a therapist is not crazy. You shouldn't be crazy to talk to a therapist. You should be crazy to live in Argentina, but not to I think we have so many therapists because you need to live there to understand. But I love my country. But then I have that. Then my mother used to be a psychotherapist. So I didn't have problems with that. But yes, I have prejudice with men's groups, for example. I said, this is for people that is suboptimal. It's not the therapy, you cannot go in depth. There is people that only is lost and an aspirational goal.
So men's groups are for losers.
Yeah.
Right.
And this is the prejudice. And then when you go there, you realize that it's not. But also I found it something super interesting that I talk a lot about it. That is the masculine energy. It's a connection with men when they are open in a group and you have deep conversation in a ritualic environment. You experience the masculine energy. And this is something intangible, and it's something that you need to live and be open to receive. And once you do that, it's a booster. And this is when you are not scared to say, I understand also the man up part.
Yeah.
It's not everything bullshit.
Yeah.
The exaggeration is wrong.
Yeah.
But we should connect with the strength.
Yeah.
Maybe with aggression sometimes. Not aggression to someone that we love, or whatever, but if we are defending, touch someone from my family, and you will see my aggressive part.
Yeah.
You don't want myself to be withdrawn there.
Yeah. Yeah. So, how long have we been a men's group together now? A couple of years or something?
Yeah, a couple of years.
And it was different to what you expected?
Yes, because I didn't know what it was.
Right. And would you say that in the men's group we do man, or we go from male to female to boy to man and explain it all? Or does it bring up a certain part of it for people? Because, most people listening will have never been to a men's group. What would you say from the outside, with no expectations, your experience was of us not only being together, but for 2 years and changing and being there, seeing other people change?
Yeah, it was more effective than I was expected, for sure. As I came more from experience on therapies and Freudian and Lacanian, I thought it was, okay, it wouldn't add much. But it's different. There is something about this intangible masculine energy, these shared experiences, that God brings insight. This idea that everybody can be evolving at different pace at different stages of life makes you more mature.
Yeah.
Because then you stop thinking that the world is only the way you see it.
Yeah. So different perspectives, different people, different paths. And I wonder whether similar pain, similar holes to fall down, that we can point out to each other, so not everyone has to fall down the same hole and fumble to get out of it and fix it. Because what I love is learning from other people's mistakes. It's fine to learn from other people's successes, but it's really valuable for me to learn from other people's mistakes and to share mine, not just to say, this is how I did well, but when I was in your situation, this is how I failed, this is how I succeeded. And it's not just helping other people, it's almost like purging it, celebrating the good, purging the shame, and just getting real, getting connected and getting here.
Yeah, and I would add to that it's not just the doing, but also the being. You learn from the being of the other people.
Yeah, yeah.
This is what I think is where you get more of the energy. So who they are. And sometimes it's difficult even for them to express it.
Yeah. Yeah. Unknown territory. Yeah. And your journey, I'd imagine a lot of people will listen to this and think, man, how come this bloke out of nowhere lands in England, lands a top job like this, launches an agency, does all of this stuff, and how? And where do I start? There are going to be a lot of people listening thinking, how do I start my career? How can I be like Fernando? Give us tips on how people can either be like you or like them better.
Yeah. If they want to be if you want to be like me, I would say don't do it. You need to understand a lot of English language, but and learn it. But no, I think I will start building the bricks from the inside. I will start really, really digging inside. I will look for, if possible, for help or read about it. Think how. Contemplate, meditation, whatever it works for you, to understand better who you are. And let's be connected on what you do. Then you will do, but it's better when you do from who you are. So maybe start challenging that and understanding more who you are in the way it serves you. And then you will do it in a way, you will do whatever it can from there.
Wow. My inner DJs are playing. Do you remember the Who? Who are you? Who? And on that embarrassing note, I think we need to wind up. It has been brilliant to hang out with you. Thank you for so much insight in masculinity and permission to be, to dig, to find out, and to get a lot funkier. So, time to go. See you next week on the Men's Radio Station. You're listening to Kenny Mammarella-D'Cruz on the Men's Radio Station.